the genuine jewel of the Dharma. There are two types of Dharma. One is the teachings and knowledge, such as the Tripitaka and commentaries. The other is the extraordinary wisdom and compassion of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, as well as their enlightenment state. The former serves as a means and tool for implementing Buddhist education and is merely a nominal jewel of the Dharma, known as the Dharma in the conventional reality. The true nature of reality, which is the qualities, wisdom, and virtue of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, is the genuine jewel of the Dharma in the ultimate reality. Here, the genuine jewel of the Dharma is defined as the qualities, wisdom, and virtue of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. In other words, the skillful means that Buddhas and Bodhisattvas use to benefit sentient beings are the genuine jewel of the Dharma. Of course, it is manifested as the scriptures and teachings expounded by Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. In other words, the treasures of the Buddha can only be manifested through expounding theories and knowledge. Don't assume that sutras are the Dharma. Sutras are merely skillful means that Buddhas and Bodhisattvas use to enlighten sentient beings. The genuine jewel of the Dharma is the skillful means, wisdom, such as the post-meditation wisdom of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, because only the skillful means of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas can guide sentient beings to attain Buddhahood. The so-called jewel of the Dharma refers to the specific skillful means that guide sentient beings to attain Buddhahood. Manifested on actual things, it is the tools and means of Buddhist education. The scriptures and commentaries are just tools. Therefore, they are the Dharma in the phenomenal world, in the conventional reality, a nominal jewel of the Dharma, but not the genuine jewel of the Dharma. I think this statement is also important. Perhaps you haven't heard of it before. What is the genuine jewel of the Dharma? The genuine jewel of the Dharma lies in the Buddha's mind, in the Guru's mind. This is because when a Guru or a Buddha attains enlightenment, the methods and skillful means they use are in their minds. They have grasped them. When they teach you, they certainly need to use tools and means of education such as Buddhist scriptures and teachings. These are just tools. If there were no scriptures, you would have no reference. Even if you were to give a teaching, sentient beings would not believe it. So, scriptures are also very important as they serve as the carriers of the Dharma. Without scriptures, sentient beings would have no way to believe because there would be no unified standard. In reality, the genuine jewel of the Dharma lies in the minds of Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, and enlightened beings. That is the genuine jewel of the Dharma. Although Buddhist teachings and scriptures are very important and should never be overlooked, they are just symbolic Dharma, but not the genuine Dharma. The genuine Dharma are the effects and insights that arise in our thoughts and actions through listening, meditating, and practicing. Only these effects can truly liberate us from suffering and wrongdoing. Therefore, they are the genuine jewel of the Dharma. That is to say, the Guru's oral instructions can directly guide you to be free from suffering. Yesterday, we were discussing Lama Atisha's question, which is more sublime, the Buddha's scriptures or the Guru's oral instructions? The Guru's oral instructions are more important and sublime. This is because they are the genuine Dharma that can directly guide you. The Buddhist scriptures and commentaries are just the carriers of the Dharma, the symbolic Dharma, because you have to rely on them. Without them, the Dharma would cease to exist. So, they are also important. Those great masters are all disciples of the Buddha. They have understood and mastered the Buddhist scriptures. The genuine Dharma lies in individuals' minds, not in the scriptures themselves. The scriptures are the carriers of the Buddha's teachings. Only after the scriptures are grasped by an individual through actual practice can they become genuine Dharma. When a practitioner has grasped the key points through practice, they can guide others to practice. This is the genuine Dharma. The Buddhist scriptures are not the genuine Dharma. Perhaps you have never heard this statement before. The scriptures and teachings are just symbolic Dharma. Buddha statues are also the symbolic jewel of the Buddha, which are certainly important because they are essential. However, when a person truly grasps the methods and tips of liberation in their mind through actual practice, that is the genuine Dharma. Only when it is learned, practiced, and applied in one's own mind and actions can it become the genuine Dharma. Definition of the Dharma. Next, let's discuss the definition of the Dharma. According to Maitreya's Uttaratantra Shastra, the Dharma has the following 8 qualities. Number 1, inconceivable. Number 2, non-dual. Number 3, free from notions. Number 4, pure. Number 5, luminous. Number 6, remedy. Number 7, the truth of cessation. And number 8, the truth of the path. Brief introduction to the 8 qualities of the Dharma. Number 1, inconceivable. The enlightenment state of the genuine Dharma. The Buddha's enlightenment state is the state that the Buddha himself has realized and experienced. Only the Buddhas who have reached the same level of realization can directly perceive the state of each other, while ordinary beings cannot comprehend it with conceptual wisdom. That's why the genuine Dharma is inconceivable. The Buddha's enlightenment state is inconceivable, transcending words, language, thoughts, and discussion. Words are ineffective in describing it. In other words, the state of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas is a concrete experience, while language expresses abstract notions that cannot directly and vividly convey experiences and feelings. Therefore, the state can only be understood through personal experience, but cannot be expressed with language. Language is used to express thoughts, experiences, and feelings. Since ordinary beings share similar experiences and thoughts, they can communicate with each other through language. Language is just a symbol. When I express my feelings, you can understand them only if you have similar experiences. If you have never experienced it, you won't understand it. Likewise, ordinary beings have never experienced the state of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, so it cannot be conveyed through language. Language is a medium. If you have never experienced it, then no matter how it is conveyed, you won't get it. Number 2. Non-dual. The truth of cessation refers to the state of being free from leaks. Leaks refer to afflictions, along with the karma they give rise to. When both afflictions and karma have been eradicated, it is a non-dual state. Leaks sometimes specifically refer to deluded thoughts. A boat with leaks will sink and cannot reach the other shore. Therefore, the afflictions and karma, as well as various deluded thoughts that bind sentient beings in the three realms, are called leaks. The state of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas is free from afflictions, as they are enlightened beings. It may be more appropriate to describe their actions as free from leaks. Number 3. Free from notions. Notions refer to the deluded thoughts which are mainly manifested in the following aspects: mistaking impure bodies as pure, and thus generating desire; mistaking unsatisfactory worldly feelings as happiness, and thus clinging to them; mistaking the body and mind, which are constantly changing, arising and ceasing, as permanent and unchanging. These are the methods to eliminate the attachment to the self. Number 1. Meditating on impurity. Number 2. Meditating on the suffering of change. In reality, the so-called happiness in the world is not happiness, but instead the suffering of change. And number 3. Meditating on impermanence. The self is merely one's notion of the body or mind composed of the 5 aggregates. In other words, the I in each individual's consciousness refers to the combination of their body and mind, or the subjective consciousness. The tangible physical body and the intangible consciousness that arises from circumstances are all results of the combination of various conditions. Without analysis, we roughly identify them as me and take this me as the subject, giving rise to various emotions and actions. This is the self in the phenomenal world. This self, which is a combination of various conditions, is the subject that creates karma, experiences the karmic results, and undergoes reincarnation. This is undeniable. In other words, the attachment to the self or self-identity is the root of reincarnation. If one doesn't acknowledge this self that arises from conditions, but acknowledges the consciousness that undergoes reincarnation and attains liberation, it would be contradictory. In fact, only after the bardo body arises from self-attachment can the so-called reincarnation take place. Lama Tsongkhapa said, Buddhism never denies the existence of the self that creates karma and experiences the karmic results. However, there is another notion of self in people's mind. They believe that this self is the subject that governs their thoughts, emotions, and actions, and that the body and mind are just accessories to this self. Nevertheless, this self, which is neither the physical body nor the mind, is totally fabricated. No self means there is no such inherently existing self. No self is about eliminating the attachment to the self. When we say the five aggregates are not self, we acknowledge the existence of the five aggregates, referring to them as self, and acknowledging the operation and reincarnation of the five aggregates. However, apart from the five aggregates, there is no inherently existing self. This self doesn't exist. The notion of this fabricated self is the root of afflictions, so Buddhism advocates to eradicate this illusory self to purify our true nature. The notions of permanence, happiness, self, and purity mentioned above are distorted and illusory. After these wrong thoughts are eliminated, one reaches the peaceful state free from notions. In other words, the self that is neither the physical body nor the mind is totally fabricated, just like mistaking a rope for a snake. Isn't it completely false? In reality, there is no snake there at all. When we cling to it, we may perceive it as a snake, but in fact, it is false. Once we see clearly, we will realize that there is no snake. Similarly, we need to recognize that there is no self in the five aggregates, although we don't deny their functioning. Therefore, we need to first understand that the five aggregates are not self. The five aggregates are not self, and apart from the five aggregates, there is no inherently existing self either. This way, we can eliminate the attachment to the self. We refer to the five aggregates as self. This is the method of eliminating self-attachment that we learn every day at noon. Number 4. Pure. The truth of the path is the pure wisdom free from defilements. It can also lead individuals who practice it to attain purity. This is the Dharma's quality of purity. Number 5. Luminous. The wisdom of the path is the unattached, unobstructed wisdom that clearly discerns the essence and phenomena of all things, just as the sunlight that dispels darkness and illuminates everything. Therefore, the wisdom of the path, which aligns with reality and is sufficient, is luminous. Luminosity means clarity. Regarding the wisdom of the path, path refers to the specific theories and methods of attaining enlightenment. Of course, the Buddhist scriptures are just a carrier of these theories and methods, but not the theories and methods themselves. Without studying and practicing, they cannot become the genuine theories and methods in one's mind. Only through digestion, comprehension, and application can they truly become the genuine Dharma. This is what it means. Number 6. Remedy. The wisdom of the path serves as a remedy. Sentient beings have various afflictions, maybe 84,000 types, and the Buddha skillfully prescribes the appropriate remedy to each one. The root of sentient beings' afflictions is 2 types of ignorance: the attachment to self in person and the attachment to self in phenomena. The remedy for them is the wisdom of realizing non-self. For example, loving kindness is used as a remedy for anger. Meditating on the physical body as a white skeleton is used as a remedy for lust. And meditating on emptiness and impermanence is used as a remedy for attachment to worldly gains, and so on. The Dharma is used as a remedy. The fundamental role of the Dharma is to deal with our afflictions. Number 7. The truth of cessation. The truth of cessation refers to the state where afflictions and karma are completely eradicated, just like extinguishing a fire. It is a peaceful state, free from attachment. This refers to the ultimate nirvana. Afflictions are mental activities such as desire and anger. They cause imbalance in the mind, leading to agitation and chaos, so they are called afflictions. They are restless and turbulent, like a raging fire. Actions of body, speech, and mind that arise from afflictions are called karma. Karma can be classified into 3 types: positive karma, negative karma, and neutral karma. Number 8. The truth of the path. There are the wisdom of the defiled path and the wisdom that arises from the path. Examples of the wisdom of the path include the 8 types of wisdom and 8 types of forbearance of the path of seeing, 8 paths of no interruption, 8 kinds of liberation, eliminating 81 types of coarse and subtle afflictions on the path of meditation, 81 paths of no interruption, and 81 kinds of liberation. The truth of the path refers to the wisdom that is higher than the path of seeing. Therefore, the jewel of the Dharma also refers to the wisdom and enlightenment state above the path of seeing. Among the 8 qualities of the Dharma mentioned above, the first to third are the qualities of the truth of cessation, while the 4th to 6th are the qualities of the truth of the path. The 7th is the shared quality of the truth of cessation, and the 8th is the shared quality of the truth of the path. From the perspective of the Buddha, who is the object of refuge, the Dharma refers to the Buddha's 2 enlightenment states, the truth of cessation and the truth of the path, characterized by peace and wisdom. The truth of cessation is characterized by peace, while the truth of the path is characterized by wisdom. After attaining Buddhahood, one possesses 2 states, the truth of cessation and the truth of the path. Nirvana refers to the ultimate enlightenment state, which is peaceful and free from attachment. From the perspective of a practitioner, after attaining the path of seeing, one truly possesses the genuine Dharma. This statement is also important. Only after attaining the path of seeing can one truly possess the genuine Dharma. The path of accumulation and the path of joining prior to the path of seeing, as well as the conceptual wisdom obtained through listening, meditating, and practicing, and the various imperfect virtues such as discipline and concentration, all belong to the category of Dharma practice. However, they don't belong to the category of the genuine Dharma. In other words, one is still in the preparatory stage and haven't truly entered the path of seeing. Since you haven't seen the truth, these are just considered as Dharma practice. Therefore, a Dharma must be a Dharma practice, but a Dharma practice is not necessarily a Dharma. This is because prior to the path of seeing, you are just in the preparatory stage and haven't truly possessed the jewel of the Dharma in the 3 jewels. What you possess is just the Dharma which hasn't turned into the jewel. After entering the path of seeing, it will become the jewel of the Dharma. This is inconceivable. The wisdom of the path and the wisdom of the fruition in the 3 vehicles, as well as the Buddha's nature body and wisdom body, are all considered as the jewel of the Dharma. The 3 vehicles include the vehicle of the hearers and the vehicle of the solitary realizers. The specific content of the truth of cessation and the truth of the path in the 3 vehicles, as well as the stages of enlightenment, are discussed in the Ornament of Clear Realization and related commentaries. We will not provide a detailed introduction here. The 3 vehicles consist of the vehicle of the hearers and the vehicle of the solitary realizers. In our daily study of the essentials to purifying the mind, it is also mentioned that if you have directly realized non-self, you have entered the path of seeing. The path of seeing in the hearer's vehicle is the realization of non-self, which is the first stage of enlightenment. After entering the path of seeing, the practice is no longer the same. Since you have directly realized non-self, you have attained the genuine Dharma. After that, you will be different. Direct realization is different from the prior conceptual understanding. Therefore, it's important to diligently practice in order to gradually attain realization. On the path of accumulation, which is the preparatory stage, one has generated a conviction. On the path of joining, one is engaging in meditation practice. On the path of seeing, one has attained direct realization. The stage from the arising of the conviction of non-self to the direct realization of non-self is known as the path of joining. This stage can be further divided into 4 substages, during which one will experience warmth, forbearance, and peak as signs of progress. It's enough for you to have a brief knowledge of this. However, it's still important to know this, because otherwise you don't even know your progress in your spiritual practice.